confused about the word Montepulciano in Italian wine. I'm B, a wine lover and amateur student of wine. I've heard a few Americans mix up two totally different wines that both have the name Montepulciano in their titles. There are even websites that confuse these two wines. First, how do you pronounce that word in Italian? It's only 5 syllables. Don't make the mistake of trying to draw it out too long. The letters CI together pronounce the sound sh. The I is not used as a vowel. CI is used that same way in the common Italian greeting, ciao. On the east coast of Italy, primarily in the Abruzzo region, they make an everyday wine from the Montepulciano grape. That wine is called Montepulciano d'Abruzzo, or just Montepulciano. The grape, which is the second most planted grape in all of Italy, is used in other southern Italian wines also. But it's rarely planted in Tuscany now, where they specialize in Sangiovese, and recently they've added Bordeaux grapes, of course, to their Super Tuscans. On the west coast of Italy in Tuscany, there's a village named Montepulciano, located between the DOCGs of Chianti Classico and Brunello di Montalcino. Around this village of Montepulciano, they make a more expensive wine from primarily the Sangiovese grape. This wine is never called Montepulciano. You refer to it either by its full name, Vino Nobile di Montepulciano, or by the shortened title, Vino Nobile, or just Nobile. Montepulciano wine from Abruzzo and neighboring areas in southern Italy must be at least 85% Montepulciano grapes, while Vino Nobile from Tuscany must be at least 70% Sangiovese grapes. In general, Montepulciano wine is less expensive than an everyday wine, where traditionally Nobile has always been more expensive and had some status as a fancier wine. There's an ancient connection between these two wines. Centuries ago, the Montepulciano grape was supposedly grown around the village of Montepulciano in Tuscany. That's how the grape got its name, but it hasn't been there in many years. These two wines are very different. Montepulciano is generally a mass-produced grape that's an easy drinking wine with low acidity and lower tannins. Nobile tends to have higher acid and tannins. The extreme difference between these two wines is lessening in recent years. They're now making some Montepulciano wines with great complexity at very high prices. At the same time, the status of Nobile has been lessened by competition with Super Tuscans and Brunello di Montalcino. There's another version of Vino Nobile di Montepulciano that complicates the issue. It's the little brother of Vino Nobile called Rosso di Montepulciano. Rosso just means the color red. In Italy, they have a habit of naming wine from a classic appellation as just Rosso if the wine didn't make the cut to be approved as the expensive version. In effect, a Rosso wine is therefore just a little brother, not quite as serious a wine as the big brother, but very similar. Brunello di Montalcino has a little brother, Rosso di Montalcino. They consider Chianti's little brother to be Rosso di Toscana. Rosso di Montepulciano is similar to its big brother, Nobile, because it's primarily the same grapes grown around the same village with similar processing, although it is released a little bit earlier. The Rosso di Montepulciano is a little different from its big brother, Nobile, because the grapes are allowed to be more productive, therefore the price is a little lower. It's aged a slightly shorter time period, so that it's somewhat a less serious wine, and it still retains a little more of the fresh fruit taste. You generally refer to this wine by the full name Rosso di Montepulciano, because there are other wines from Italy named Rosso, and Montepulciano is a totally different wine, as we've been discussing in this video. There are a few advantages to choosing a Rosso over its big brother. It's generally less expensive, and sometimes they're allowed to include some of the wonderful Bordeaux grapes, Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon, which are generally not permitted in classic Italian wines. And also, you might just prefer an easier drinking wine for a more casual event. So we've discussed 3 Italian wines in this video. Classic Vino Nobile from Tuscany, structured and expensive wine. Its little brother, Rosso di Montepulciano from Tuscany, somewhat less serious and a little less expensive. And Montepulciano from Abruzzo and southern Italy, generally an inexpensive casual wine. Here's a quick quiz to help us remember what we were talking about in this video. In which Italian province do they make most of the Montepulciano wine? Tuscany or Abruzzo? What is the main grape used in the wine Montepulciano? Sangiovese grapes or Montepulciano grapes? How do you abbreviate the name of the wine whose full name is Vino Nobile di Montepulciano? Vino Nobile or Montepulciano? What is the main grape used in the wine Vino Nobile di Montepulciano? Sangiovese grapes or Montepulciano grapes? Well, that's the end of this video, but look for more videos from Let's Discover Wine. And please leave any comments or suggestions below.